drill bit screamed when it hit something that wasn't stone. Not the normal grinding sound you get when steel chews through limestone. This was sharper, metallic, like dragging a blade across a pipe. Everyone on site heard it, even over the engine, even over the wind. The machine kicked back so hard it nearly stalled. I remember the operator swearing and killing the throttle, thinking he'd hit rebar or an old survey marker, or maybe just a dense pocket of rock, but there was nothing out here. No modern construction, no buried utilities, just sand, limestone, and 4,000 years of nothing. We were 2 days into a small survey dig west of Saqqara, running ground-penetrating radar for the university. Nothing glamorous, just mapping subsurface anomalies before the main excavation team arrived. It was supposed to be boring work, grids, scans, core samples, repeat. The radar had picked up something odd that morning. A perfectly rectangular void about 15 meters down. Too straight to be natural, too smooth to be a collapsed chamber. It looked designed. Our supervisor, Dr. Hassan, had joked it was probably an old storage cellar or some forgotten burial niche. Nothing special, he'd said. So we drilled a test core to check. And that's when the bit hit something that wasn't stone. The silence after the engine cut was worse than the sound. Just wine-moving sand across the tents. Everyone staring at the drill mast like it had just hit a landmine. "Pull it up," Hassan said. The operator reversed the drill. Slowly, carefully. When the bit came up, the teeth weren't coated in powdery limestone like usual. They were smeared with something dark, not black, not brown, more like a deep reddish grey, wet, still dripping. For a second, nobody spoke. Then one of the techs laughed and said, "Oil." But it didn't smell like oil. It smelled metallic, warm, like blood. Except that was stupid. Stone doesn't bleed. Hassan crouched and touched it with a glove. Rubbed it between his fingers. Sticky. Probably mineral seep, he muttered. But he didn't sound convinced. He told us to widen the hole manually. Hand tools only. No more drilling. If there was some weird pocket down there, he didn't want to collapse it. So we started digging. Shovels first, then brushes, then trowels. Classic, careful excavation. By late afternoon, we hit the top of it. Flat, perfectly flat, not natural, not carved limestone blocks either. It wasn't segmented, no joints, no mortar lines, just one smooth surface, like a single slab. But it wasn't stone. I tapped it with the back of my trowel. It rang. A hollow metallic knock. Everyone froze. Because there's only one thing buried metal usually means. Modern. And modern means looters or recent construction. Which means paperwork, headaches, funding problems. But this didn't look modern. There were no tool marks, no corrosion, no rust. After all these centuries underground, it looked untouched, like it had been placed yesterday. The sun was dropping fast by then, painting everything orange. Hassan called it. "Cover it. We continue in the morning." Nobody argued, but as we packed up, I kept looking back at that square of exposed surface. It didn't belong here. Under thousands of years of undisturbed desert, under layers of sediment older than most civilizations. Something about it felt wrong, not exciting, not historic, wrong. Like we'd uncovered something that wasn't meant to be found. That night, the wind picked up. Sand hit the tents like rain. I barely slept. Around 2 a.m., something woke me. At first I thought it was the storm. Then I realized the ground was vibrating, faintly, like something heavy moving far below. Slow, rhythmic, a low, distant thud. I lay there, staring into the dark, listening, telling myself it was just equipment shifting in the wind, or my imagination. Then it stopped, and the silence felt worse than the noise. Morning made everything feel stupid again. That's the thing about fear at night. Sunlight turns it into embarrassment. By 7 a.m., the desert just looked like sand and rock again. No mystery, no vibration, no strange sounds, just heat and work. The storm had flattened half the camp. Sand piled against the tents, equipment half buried. The square we'd uncovered the day before was almost completely covered again, like the desert had tried to hide it. Hassan made a joke about nature reclaiming our funding and got us clearing it off. Nobody mentioned the noise from the night, not at first. We brushed the surface clean. In full daylight, it looked even stranger. It wasn't metallic like I thought. Not exactly. It had this dull, matte finish. Dark grey. Almost ceramic. Too smooth. No grain, no pores, no tool marks, nothing. It didn't look carved or forged. It looked formed, like it had cooled into shape. Hassan ran the scanner over it. The reader glitched, numbers jumping, no stable density reading, which made zero sense. Everything has density. Rock, sand, metal, wood. The scanner should show something. Instead, it just flickered between extremes like it couldn't decide what it was looking at. Cheap equipment, he muttered. But Hassan didn't blame tools easily. We measured the edges, perfect 90-degree corners, perfect square, roughly 4 meters across. Big, too big for a coffin, too small for a normal chamber, just wrong size, like it wasn't meant for people. One of the techs, Farid, tapped it again with his trowel. That same hollow ring. Except now we could hear it echo. There was space underneath, a cavity, not solid, which meant whatever this was, it wasn't just a slab, it was a roof. Structure, Hassan said quietly, not excited, concerned. Something's down there. We cleared around the edges carefully, expecting to find seams or joints, blocks, mortar, anything, nothing. The surface just continued straight down, no break, like it had been poured or grown there. By midday, we'd uncovered enough to see what looked like a thin lip along one side, barely visible, like a lid. Nobody said door, but everyone thought it. Hassan radioed the university for instructions. Signal was garbage, too far out, so he made the call himself. We open it, quick inspection only, then we reseal. It took 6 of us with pry bars to lift it, and it didn't slide like stone. It lifted too easily, like it wasn't as heavy as it should be. 4 meters of solid anything should weigh tons. This felt wrong, light, hollow. The second it shifted, cold air rushed out. Not stale, not dusty, cold, dry, like opening a freezer. In the middle of the Egyptian desert, everyone stopped smiling. Because nothing underground here is cold. Nothing. Everything is heat and suffocation and trapped air. But this felt preserved. We propped the slab open. shone lights inside. At first, I thought it was just shadow. Then my eyes adjusted, and I realized we weren't looking into a tomb, or a room, or anything archaeological. It was a corridor, straight, smooth, perfectly flat walls. No carvings, no bricks, no joints. Just one continuous surface, like the inside of a pipe, except rectangular. It didn't look ancient. It didn't look anything. It looked manufactured. And there was no dust inside. None. After thousands of years underground, no sand, no debris, nothing. Just clean floor. That's when Hassan said the thing that made my stomach drop. This hasn't been buried that long. But the sediment layers, I started. I know, he said, but this structure doesn't match the geology at all. Which meant one of two things. Either it was older than everything around it, or it wasn't supposed to be here at all. Farid volunteered to go down first. Just a quick look. 10 meters, then back. We tied a line to his harness like protocol. Flashlight on, helmet cam recording. He climbed down, boots hitting the floor with a dull, echoing thud. Too echoey. Like the space extended farther than we could see. Smells weird, he called up. How? Hassan asked. Nothing. It smells like nothing. He walked forward slowly. Light sweeping. Walls smooth as glass. No markings, no cracks. No aging. It looked newer than the equipment we brought. Feels like a tunnel, he said. Like maintenance access or something. Ancient maintenance, someone joked weakly. Nobody laughed. Then he stopped walking. What is it? Hassan asked. There are scratches on the floor. The way he said it made my throat tighten. Not curious, uneasy. Animal, Hassan said. No, not like that. They're parallel. Like what? Like something heavy being dragged. Nobody spoke for a second after Farid said that. Dragged. That word didn't belong in an untouched underground corridor. Not here. Not beneath thousands of years of sealed sediment. Nothing should have ever been down there to drag anything. Describe it, Hassan said. Farid's flashlight beam jittered slightly. Two lines, side by side, like rails almost, maybe 10 centimeters apart. Tool marks? No. He crouched, ran his glove along the floor. They're worn smooth, like something passed over the same path again and again. The word again sat heavy in the air. Again meant repetition. Repetition meant time, and time meant activity. How far do they go? Hassan asked. Farid stepped forward. We heard each boot echo faintly through the shaft. 1 step, 2, 3, then they keep going. How far? Past my light. The corridor swallowed light strangely. Instead of reflecting like stone, it absorbed it. His beam just sort of faded after 10 or 15 meters, like the walls drank it. Go 20 meters, then back, Hassan said. Copy. We watched the rope feed slowly through Hassan's hands as Farid moved forward. 10 meters, 15, 20. The line stretched tight. Then Farid stopped. Guys, he said quietly. That tone again. Not curiosity, not excitement, concern. What? There's more down here. More what? Not scratches. Indentations. Hassan frowned. Indentations how? Like something rested here. Rested? Yeah, like weight. Something heavy sitting or standing in the same spots. My brain immediately pictured chairs, beds, bodies. I didn't like any of those. How many? Hassan asked. Farid swept the light. A lot. How many is a lot? Dozens. Nobody liked that answer. You mean storage? One of the techs said. Maybe they kept jars or crates down there. Farid didn't respond right away. Then, no, they're spaced wrong. How? Like people. The wind above us hissed through the tents. Nobody moved. Nobody joked. Come back, Hassan said immediately. Yeah, Farid replied. Yeah, I'm heading back. The rope began feeding in again. Slow, steady. His boots echoing, closer, closer. Then the rope jerked, hard. Like something yanked it. Hassan nearly lost his grip. What happened? He shouted. No answer. The rope slackened suddenly, then tightened again, dragging slightly, like Farid had stumbled. Farid, Hassan yelled. Yeah, came the reply, breathless. I'm good. Floor's uneven. But it wasn't uneven. We all knew that. He just said it was perfectly smooth. He climbed out faster than he went down. Didn't make eye contact at first. Just pulled off his helmet and wiped sweat from his face. Even though the air down there was cold. Well? Hassan asked. Farid hesitated, which scared me more than anything he could have said. It's not a tomb, he said finally. No, it's not storage either. What is it then? Farid looked back down into the shaft, like he expected something to look back. It feels like a hallway. A hallway to what? Someone asked. He shook his head. I don't know, but it keeps going. Straight. Perfect. Too perfect. He held up his gloves. They were coated in that same dark residue we saw on the drill bit. Thin, greasy, not dust. It's on the floor, he said, like something's been moving down there recently. Recently, Hassan snapped. There's no dust, nothing settled. It's clean. Clean. After thousands of years underground, that wasn't possible. We checked the camera footage from his helmet. The video was grainy, low light, but clear enough. The corridor looked exactly like he described. Perfectly smooth, perfectly straight, like a concrete service tunnel, except this thing had been buried longer than Rome existed. Then we saw the marks, 2 faint lines along the floor, parallel, running forward forever, like something with runners or rails. And then the indentations. They weren't random. They were spaced evenly, left, right, pairs, like footprints, but not human ones. Too wide apart, too heavy. Each depression was deep, like whatever made them weighed far more than a person. And they stopped suddenly, at the wall, except it wasn't a wall. The video showed the corridor just fading into darkness. No door, no blockage, just black. Like the camera couldn't see past a certain point. Even with the flashlight, Farid fast-forwarded a few seconds, and we all froze. Because in one frame, just for a fraction of a second, something reflected the light, not the wall, not the floor. Something vertical, thin, like a pole or a leg, standing in the darkness, then gone. The camera kept moving. Nothing there. Glitch, Hassan said quickly. but nobody sounded convinced. The worst part came later. When we checked the time code, Farid was gone for 6 minutes, but the footage only showed about 3 minutes missing, completely, just static, and none of us could explain where the rest of that time went. We replayed the footage 3 times. Same result. Farid climbs down, walks forward, corridor, marks, indentations, that strange reflection in the dark. Then, static, 3 full minutes missing. Then suddenly, he's walking back toward the ladder like nothing happened. No cut, no jump, just time. Gone. That's corrupted data, Hassan said. Too fast, too certain. The way people talk when they don't believe themselves. Cheap camera, low light. It happens. But Hassan double-checked everything anyway. Battery full. No overheating. No recording errors flagged. Nothing that should have caused a gap. Farid kept rubbing his forehead. You said I was down there 6 minutes. Yeah, Hassan said. Felt like 2, maybe 3. Nobody said it, but we all felt it. Time doesn't just disappear. Not cleanly like that. Hassan made the call to stop physical entry. Remote first, he said. We drop a rover camera down. No more people. We had a small crawler drone for tight spaces. Nothing fancy. 4 wheels. Camera. LED light. Used it all the time in collapsed shafts. We lowered it on a line and set it rolling. The feed popped up on the laptop. Grainy, blue tint. The corridor again. Smooth walls. The twin drag lines. The same greasy residue on the floor. From this angle, it looked worse. Not ancient, not archaeological. It looked industrial, like something built in the last 50 years. Except it was buried under thousands of years of untouched sediment, which made my brain feel like it was trying to divide by 0. The crawler moved forward slowly. 10 meters, 15, 20, same corridor. No turns, no doors, no markings, nothing. Measure the slope, Hassan said. We checked. Perfectly level. Laser straight. No deviation. Whoever built this had modern engineering precision, which was impossible. Then the crawler passed the first set of indentations. Up close, they were deeper than we thought. Almost 5 centimeters into the surface. Like something extremely heavy had stood there repeatedly. Pairs. Always pairs. Left, right, left, right. Like something walked on 2 legs. Nobody liked that thought. The drone kept rolling. The drag lines still visible. Always centered. Like something was pulled along the exact same path. Over and over. For years. Stop there, Hassan said suddenly. The crawler paused. Zoom. Something lay on the floor ahead. Small, dark, out of place. The camera zoomed, struggled to focus, then sharpened. It looked like fabric. A strip, torn, dirty. Modern fabric. Not linen, not ancient weave. Something synthetic. Farid leaned closer to the screen. That's mine. What? My glove. He held up his right hand. The fingertip was missing, ripped. None of us had noticed earlier. That's impossible, Hassan said. You never went that far. I know. But there it was. His glove. 30 meters down the corridor. Past the point the rope allowed him to reach. Which meant one of 2 things. Either the drone was wrong, or Farid had gone farther than he remembered. Neither option felt good. "Bring it back," Hassan said quietly. The crawler turned around, started rolling back, slow, steady. Halfway back, the video flickered, just once, like interference. Then the image shifted slightly, barely noticeable, but enough. The drag lines on the floor looked fresher, darker, like something had just passed over them. "Did we bump it?" someone asked. "No," Farid said. "It didn't touch anything." The crawler kept moving, closer, closer. Then the feed stuttered again. 3 quick glitches, like frames dropped. And for just a moment, we saw something that hadn't been there before. A shadow crossing the corridor, not on the wall, not cast by light, blocking the camera itself, like something stepped directly in front of it. Tall, thin, too thin, then gone. The corridor empty again. Nobody breathed. Nobody spoke. "Bring it back now," Hassan said. Voice tight. The crawler rolled faster, almost at the ladder. Almost. Then the line jerked, hard. The drone flipped sideways. Camera spinning, static screaming, like something grabbed it. Then the feed cut completely. Just black. We pulled the line up, fast, hands shaking. The crawler came up smashed. Front casing cracked. Camera lens shattered inward. Not scraped, not dropped. Crushed, like something squeezed it. Hassan stared down the shaft for a long time, then said quietly, "We're sealing this." Nobody argued, but as we covered the opening, I could have sworn I felt something from below. Not sound, not vibration, just awareness. Like something down there now knew we were here, and we'd just taken away the only light it had. We should have left that day, packed everything, logged it as an anomaly, gone home. Any sensible team would have. But archaeology isn't built on caution. It's built on curiosity, and curiosity makes you stupid. Hassan radioed the university again. Still no signal. Storm interference. Atmospheric noise. Whatever. We were on our own. "Temporary seal," he said. "We document. Then tomorrow, we bring heavier equipment." Tomorrow. Like this thing was going anywhere. We slid the slab back into place. It settled too easily, too perfectly, like it wanted to be closed. By sunset, the wind died completely. No storm, no sand movement, just stillness. The kind you only get deep in the desert, where even insects don't make noise. Dinner was quiet. Nobody joked. Nobody told stories. Everyone kept glancing toward the dig square, like expecting it to open by itself. Around midnight, Farid shook me awake, hard. "Do you hear that?" he whispered. At first, nothing. Then, a low hum, barely there, felt more than heard, like standing near a power transformer. Except we didn't have anything running. Generators were off, radios off, everything dead. The hum came from the ground. We stepped outside. The air felt colder than it should have been. Breath almost visible, which is wrong for Egypt, even at night. The hum deepened. Then, thud, soft, distant, like something heavy setting a foot down. Then again, thud, thud. Same rhythm I'd heard the night before, only louder now, closer. Farid looked at me. "You hear that too, right?" I nodded, didn't trust my voice. Other tents unzipped, people stepping out, listening, no one speaking. The sound came from directly beneath the sealed structure. Thud. Thud. Like something pacing. And then it stopped. Silence slammed down so hard my ears rang. We stood there for maybe 30 seconds. Nobody moving. Nobody breathing. Then Hassan said the words I still hate him for. Open it. What? Someone said. If something's collapsing down there, we need to see it. It doesn't sound like collapsing, Farid muttered. But Hassan was already walking, and we followed. Because that's what you do. You follow the person who sounds confident, even when they're wrong. We uncovered the slab again, hands shaking this time. Nobody joking, nobody pretending this was normal. We pried it up. Cold air poured out again, stronger, like a freezer door opening. The hum returned instantly, low, vibrating in my teeth. We shone lights down, and every single one of us froze. The floor was different. Those parallel drag lines, they weren't dusty anymore. They were wet, dark, fresh, like something had just passed through. And the indentations, those deep paired depressions, they weren't 30 meters away anymore. They started right below the ladder, right beneath us, like something had stood there, looking up. Nobody spoke, nobody breathed. Then Farid whispered, those weren't there earlier. And he was right. We all knew he was right. Because the dust patterns had changed too. There were new streaks, smears, like something heavy had brushed against the walls, something tall. We lowered a light, slow, careful. The beam stretched down the corridor, long, empty, then stopped. Because the corridor didn't fade into darkness anymore, there was something there now, blocking it. Not a wall, not a door, a shape, tall, thin, bent slightly forward, standing perfectly still. Too tall for a person, too narrow, arms too long, hands nearly touching the floor. And the worst part, the surface of it wasn't reflecting light. It was absorbing it, like the tunnel walls, like it was made of the same material, which meant it had always been there, blended into the dark, watching. Nobody said anything, because saying something would make it real. Then the radio on Hassan's belt crackled. We didn't even use radios down there. They were all off, dead batteries. But this one turned on by itself. Static hissing, then a voice, not clear, broken, clipped, like corrupted audio, but it said one thing, over and over. Leave, leave, leave. Not threatening, not angry, urgent, desperate, like a warning. Then the shape moved, not walking, not stepping, sliding, like it didn't lift its feet. The drag lines formed instantly beneath it, fresh grooves cutting the floor, and it was coming toward us. That's when Hassan dropped the light and screamed to run. We didn't argue, didn't look back, just grabbed what we could and ran into the dark, across sand, across cables, through tents, engines starting, shouting, chaos. As we drove away, I looked back once, just once, and I swear, I saw the slab lying open and something standing at the edge of the hole, watching the trucks leave, not chasing, not rushing, just observing, like it didn't need to hurry, like it had all the time in the world. The university shut the project down 2 days later. Official reason: unstable subsurface risk. No one mentions what we found. No reports. No funding follow-up. No excavation. Nothing. Satellite images of the site now just show sand, flat, undisturbed, like nothing was ever there. But sometimes, late at night, I think about those marks on the floor, the repeated grooves, the worn depressions, not scratches, not damage, paths, like something had been walking that corridor for a very long time, back and forth, waiting, and we didn't discover it. We opened the door and let it know the surface still existed. Thanks for listening.